Mark Lambert, I'm Gateshead's Director of Public Health. I'm welcoming you today to the Choosing Health event on mental health and wellbeing. We're calling this a Choosing Health implementation in Gateshead, a journey, and on this journey today is the Mental Health and Wellbeing Express. When we talk about mental health and wellbeing, we're concerned not just with purely an old and traditional view of mental ill health, nor are we just talking about mental health in isolation. We're concerned with its implications for physical health and physical well-being as well, as it has important implications for both of those too. Historically, we've been very concerned with things like suicide rates, and certainly prevention of suicide is an important concern for us in Gateshead, as it is for the rest of the nation. But we do want to take a positive view of mental health and have a strong interest in mental well-being as well. Merely having an absence of disease, an absence of mental ill health is not enough. Living positive, healthy lives, we need mental well-being for that as well. So in order to take that forward, there'll be three main things that we'll be talking about today. Strengthening, supporting individuals to make the best of their own mental health. Supporting communities in their wider senses so that people can be supported from within their workplaces, from within their families, from within whatever communities they would identify themselves with. And finally, we need to reduce the barriers towards positive mental health where they exist, dealing with discrimination, with racism and stigma associated with mental health problems. And you'll be hearing about all three of those in some detail throughout today. But to start that, I'd like to illustrate it with a story. The story I want to tell you in order to illustrate these 3 points is a composite one. It's made up from a number of different individuals and their stories. So if you think you can identify the person in this story, you may identify bits of it, but it's the story as a whole is a fictitious one. The story is about Ruth, who's 39, and unfortunately a few months ago she was rather devastated by the loss of a teenage son who committed suicide. Unfortunately, shortly after that, because of the way Ruth had responded, her partner couldn't cope anymore, and her partner had to. That together really was all too much, and Ruth ended up at the door of her general practitioner, really in a fairly desperate straits. And her GP did help her really quite a lot, talked about the sorts of treatments that are available in terms of talking treatments and medication, and he started Ruth on some antidepressant treatments. She had to take some time off work too, and fortunately her employer was really very understanding. Now, a few months on, things have changed for the better, and at her most recent visit to the GPs, he's been quite keen for her to think about other things in her life, to think about her physical health and how the rest of her life is going. So he suggested she joins in some of the local health walks, and through that she's made some great local contacts, met some like-minded people who she can have a real conversation with, and that's been a great help to her. Equally over the time, because she's not been at work quite as much, she hasn't had money problems, and the GP suggested that she visit the local Citizens Advice Bureau. As a result, I think it looks now as though Ruth is having many more good days than bad. There are days when she feels she can't get out and about, but she now knows many more people, has many more contacts, and is very definitely on the road to recovery. Obviously, having a positive story is a very helpful illustration, and certainly from the 3 points that I wanted to make, those ideas of tackling barriers of strengthening communities and strengthening individuals all have come out. Certainly in dealing with barriers, this woman managed to stay with a mental health problem in work and will return to it. She's built a community around her, something that's not just relevant for those with mental health problems, but is important in maintaining all of our mental well-being. And finally, around this individual who's obviously managed to grow through this time and improved her health and mental well-being very considerably. And that's something we all can do through all of our contacts, all of our interactions with local people, and hopefully that will support our local aspiration to make every contact a health improving contact.